action sequence. Who knows if you live or die?
Hi, welcome to another episode of Bomb Squad Matinee. I am your host and master of ceremony, Tanner Richard Kraft, and with me I have...
Hi, I'm comic accurate Jeremy Allen White.
I'm Truthful Timmy, the blowjob queen of Saskatoon.
I'm clever Rein with all the clever things he knows to say for his opening.
And, Joe ran away, so let's just move back to our special guest. Back on the actual podcast for the first time in 2.5 years. Introduce yourself.
I wasn't told we got to come up with a name, so I'm James the Nerd.
No, they're the only ones that do that. You do not have to do that.
Motherfuckers, he fucking did it! He hit that R rating. I ain't closing that door. Have we hit it, motherfuckers? Here we fucking are. Highest R-rated movie of all time. What we fucking doing? There's 206 bones in the human body. 207 if I'm watching Karen Gillan in Jumanji. And 207 when I'm thinking of how we hit #1 R-rated movie. Beating out Passion of the Christ. Suck it, motherfuckers. Hello, welcome to Bomb Squad Matinee.
What the fuck?
I am your host. And
I'm the
you're
host.
shaking your head.
I'm the host. I dressed up as Wolverine for this thing, motherfucker. I'm the host.
I am the guy in red, dude. I am the host. Hold on 1 second.
What the fuck?
Motherfucker.
We had an agreement, Joe. I was the host.
No. I came in full gear. You got that fucking hoodie. I call being the host,
I spent $50 on this hoodie.
I spent like $300 on this fucking thing, dude.
That is your poor financial decision, not mine.
Can we agree that we can, I don't know, maybe do a buddy cop thing because the whole movie is a buddy cop movie?
100% I smell a sitcom.
I smell sitcom.
Wolverine and Deadpool.
Hi, I'm Joseph Brennick. I am the co-host. Tanner, take over hosting duties so I can close my door.
Please do what you need to do. We're going to get this started. I want you all to be brief with this if you can. Before we get into the movie, I just want to briefly know what our expectations were going in. Starting with Austin.
I like to think of myself as a person who's not easily persuaded by Twitter bandwagons. The people of Twitter once called Lindsay Ellis the modern equivalent of Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I didn't budge. The people of Twitter once said Nancy Reagan was a baddie in her hoe days, and I did not budge. But when the people of Twitter said that this movie looked kinda gray, I looked deep into my soul and said, maybe they're right this time. Not that I have a problem with gray movies, some of my best friends are gray movies. But a huge part of blockbusters is their set pieces, and this late-stage Bethesda game-looking environment, these trailers, did raise a bit of concern in my mind. Then one of my coworkers said the magic words. He said, hey, I heard the trailers only really show the stuff from the first third of the movie. You know, that old chestnut that got people excited about Endgame. And it got me a bit pumped, thinking, maybe this movie has some colossal, tricks up its sleeve. Maybe this movie will have more than 3 locations. And I'm not gonna front, I'm just like everybody else. I was absolutely grinning ear to ear when I got tickets to see this at the local Dolby Cinema. The Deadpool franchise has been consistently fucking awesome up to this point, unless you count that botched abortion known as Once Upon a Deadpool. So, my expectations were high. In spite of the trailers we got, I figured if Neon could make half the country see Longlegs by playing 4D chess with the marketing, surely Disney's PR people were doing something clever while priming us for the biggest blockbuster of 2024. So yeah, I was a bit suspicious, but also ready to receive greatness. Back to you, Tanner.
Biggest blockbuster of 2024. We're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, not Twisters. Tim, what were your expectations going in?
So, this is a movie that's been in the works for a while. So long, in fact, that it came up on the very first episode of the Bomb Squad podcast.
Wait, did it actually?
It did. In fact, right here, I'm going to play a clip of Austin being informed that Deadpool 3 would be the first R-rated MCU movie. Take a look.
One of the ways that I view Marvel and Star Wars stuff is I'm desperately waiting for the time in my life some person will be allowed to make it R-rated. That will complete me and send me to Nirvana when those two very popular properties are allowed to do R-rated stuff. And that scene where Dottie has the accident.
Austin, I have some great news for you.
Yeah, I know. They already did it with the fucking Daredevil and the Punisher, sure.
No, Deadpool 3 is going to be in the MCU and R-rated.
Oh, Jesus, really?
Yeah, the next Deadpool movie is an MCU movie, and it will be R-rated. This was confirmed.
Yep.
Oh, man. I wonder what a pillar of light shooting out of my chest will sound like on mic. Hold on a second.
You just hear...
We got one down.
You just hear angelic singing.
Now we just need to wait for Maul, a Star Wars story. You hear how full of hope we were back then, how young and naive we were. Fast forward 3.5 years later, we've gone through all of Phase 4, which had some good stuff, but started to show some signs of a decline. And then we're in the middle of Phase 5, which has had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and others. My thoughts going into this movie were, it might be pretty fun, or it might suck. That's about where I was. Back to you, Tanner.
Insightful. Rein! Let her rip.
Yeah. All right. Let me talk. So, I wasn't on the individual Deadpool and Wolverine podcast from the other week, but basically coming into this, I loved both characters, like in middle school, but like since then I've kind of cooled off. I don't dislike them, but I just kind of indifferent to them now. And I kind of like the first Deadpool movie. I think it's fun. The second one, it's okay. So I was kind of indifferent, but my girlfriend wanted to see this, so I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I guess. Everyone's hyped for it, so like, where it's like, you're not hyped for it, but like, everyone else is hyped for it, so it's like, well, it is kind of a big deal, I guess. And I was like, okay, I guess this might be fun. We'll see if I did think it was fun next episode, or whatever.
Next episode? Just you're coming in the middle of the Twisters episode, like, so my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. Mr. Vrenick, I believe, let's get this train rolling in a different direction. I believe you shared some optimism about the movie going into it, no?
Actually, buddy, we're gonna pull a reverse of the title of the movie. Why don't you go first, buddy?
Okay, fine. My expectations going into this movie were, basically excited. I love both characters. I was excited to see Hugh Jackman return as Wolverine, though at the same time being somewhat like iffy about the idea of returning this actor that plays his beloved character just to perhaps defile its corpse for money. Anyway, enough about Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I was excited to see Hugh again. I was excited to see him interact with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, and I thought this had a potential to be a lot of fun. There were rumors about the amount of crazy cameos there could be, but after the fucking Doctor Strange, everything with that, I was just like, cameos, schmameos. I'm about the characters and I'm about the thematic stuff.
Am I only joining on Cameo Fest episodes?
Yes, be better.
Okay.
I will elaborate on that more. Yeah. Now you go, Joe.
Has everyone else gone?
Okay, fuck you. James, go ahead.
So on July 25th, I texted Tanner the following message. I have seen nothing. I have heard nothing. My final predictions. I've been saying since the 20th Century Fox logo reveal, I want Chris Evans as Human Torch. I want Ben Affleck. Rumors are for Hulk. I want 2003 Hulk. I doubt it, but I hear them being at the final battle. Could be cool. Maybe Danny Rad's as Patch, but I don't know. I need Channing as Gambit. Just saying.
This is an actual message she sent me. So that tells you what kind of moviegoer James is. I say that with love.
I stayed off of Twitter. Like, I didn't pay attention to any rumors or anything. I've been saying that since, like, the Century Fox reveal. The guy next to me in the movie theater, we met there, obviously, me being the talker I am, was the guy who sat next to me start talking. And I told him my theories, and as they're happening, he grips my arm, and we're just like staring at each other like we're best friends, like, oh my god, it's happening! The second we heard Chris Evans' voice, we'll get to it later, obviously, but we just, yeah, it was a great movie-going experience, because it's not like No Way Home, where we knew they were gonna be there. And, like, it was just kind of like, oh my god, it actually is happening. Like, I had no clue about what was going to happen in this movie, and that my theories were correct. It was really, really cool to see.
And we'll get more onto why that was awesome later when we actually talk about the movie. Joe, fucking go ahead already.
This is a great mask, isn't it? I'm just kind of admiring it. Anyway, my expectations going in, I just was hyped for at least one last ride with these characters. I loved the Deadpool movies. I loved the X-Men movies. I was, however, very skeptical about Hugh Jackman returning. Not to say that I was expecting him to slum it, because he's not going to slum it. He's fucking Wolverine. He could do that in his sleep. There's only ever been one Wolverine, and there should only ever be one Wolverine. That's going to be a thing that I'll reference later for when we get into general discussion, because that may or may not be a quote in this movie. But I was at least willing to give it a chance and see what they were going to do with it. Because let's be honest, Logan was a perfect finale, and I didn't want them to ruin that. But I was curious enough because I like Deadpool as a character, and I just wanted to see another Deadpool adventure. And I kind of wanted to see how he would fit into the MCU. I did see a couple of the leaks of the set prior to this, so I thankfully was able to avoid other leaks, but I walked in knowing that, well, the trailer even showed him, but I walked in knowing Tyler Mane was coming back. I did walk in knowing that he was going to get decapitated. So that was unfortunate. However, they were smart and they planted fake leaks, because I thought Cyclops was going to show up. I thought Michael Chiklis' The Thing was going to show up. Spoilers, none of them show up. Well, actually, technically they do, but in the mid-credits scene, we'll get to that later. But yeah, no, my general thoughts were I was just happy for another Deadpool movie, and I just hoped for the best. It was my most anticipated movie of the year, but that's not really saying much, because I've so far thought this year for movies has been an absolute fucking dry spell. I've not really liked a lot of movies that came out this year.
This is my first one this year.
So I hoped it would be good. However, we're gonna get into our general thoughts.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Let's start us off with Mr. Conversey. Give us your insights, please.
Sure will. So, I guess I essentially got what I expected, a pleasant time. I don't know. I feel like I enjoyed the Deadpool movies like 50% as much as everyone else does, which is that I like them. I can't really get into them very much, or just not as deeply as everyone else. And I was every time, because it's like, you know, it was like, oh, when I came to see the second Deadpool, it was like, it's been a while. Maybe I was just too unkind to the first one, and then it was kind of just a repeat of this, where I'm like, you know what, maybe I was too unkind to those Deadpool movies. I'm sure this one's gonna be pretty cool. All my friends, they're just so hyped, and I should be hyped too. And then it happened a third time, and yeah, no, I had fun. You know, it's definitely not the worst. Like, it's a fair bit better than like the weaker Marvel movies. It definitely felt the most like a theme park ride out of any Marvel movie, which is like, oh, here's some fun stuff for a while. Technically, here's some technical, emotional stakes. They just, I don't know, it feels like they're kind of just telling us about them, and it just feels like it's just here, so, because it has to have something. It can't go full absurdity or whatever. And like Austin, I was kind of hoping, like, oh, maybe there's, like, yeah, maybe they're just really going to go creative with it. Like, you know, I'm pretty hit or miss when it comes to, like, fourth wall humor. Sometimes it's great, a lot of times it's not. I was hoping maybe they can do something really creative here. I enjoyed it more than, I definitely enjoyed it quite a bit more than I disliked it, but it's just like, it was kind of, you know, fun, sugary treat kind of movie. I just can't really muster up any stronger feelings than that. And man, I feel like bad, like being like, oh man, opening up with such, like, it was, you know, it was like purgatory, I guess.
Just you wait.
It was like purgatory is the best fucking thing I've ever heard. Holy shit.
I mean, it does take place in purgatory, does it not?
It does. Welcome to the other side.
Fairly accurate.
Anyway, yeah, that's mostly my thoughts for now. Back to you, Joe.
Wow, way to be a buzzkill. I'm kidding, buddy. I love you. Tim, why don't you give us your thoughts, bud?
So I'll start with my fiance's review, which was 6 out of 10. Could have been gayer. And then there's my general thoughts, which put shortly, it's fun enough. I'm sort of on Rein's wavelength as well, as just like, it had some fun stuff. It's not especially great. I do have 3 like criticisms I want to kind of dig into. Number 1, Wolverine in this movie. Like, I enjoyed seeing Hugh in the role again. I enjoyed seeing him in the suit. I could even get on board with the whole Beer Fest Landfill's brother switcheroo angle of it. But I just could not be bothered to give a fuck about his plot. It felt like they were trying to do some kind of cathartic closure with him, like they did with Toby and Andrew Garfield in No Way Home. But a significantly better movie already did that 7 years ago, so I couldn't be bothered to care. My second thing, and I'm surprised Rein didn't bring this up, because it seemed like a kind of the criticism he would make. The TVA plot felt kind of lampshady to me. Like it felt like they were kind of allegorical of Disney eating up all these different companies and properties, and I'm just like, my brother in Christ, the calls are coming from inside the house. I don't know what to tell you. And then number 3, and I'm gonna make some people upset here because this is just the I'm gonna beat the deadest horse of all the dead horses. Martin Scorsese was fucking right, and you all owe him an apology. You guys got mad at him for calling Marvel movies theme parks. That's what this fucking movie is. It has fun cameos and fun action bits. It isn't saying anything. It's just a fun time. But now to get into my positives, it's a theme park. It's a fun time. I had fun on the ride. I enjoyed some of the cameos. Like, I kind of talked about the Chris Evans Human Torch thing. Like, you see that setup coming a mile away, but it's still so funny when it happens. So I had a great time with that. And Tanner, you once said that your favorite genre of movie is surprise Matt Damon. Well, one of my favorite genres of comedy is Channing Tatum doing a funny voice.
My name is Jeff.
So I had a blast with him as Gambit in this movie. Kind of wish it hadn't been spoiled for me. Side note, all of you motherfuckers who couldn't wait a goddamn week to post about fucking Blade all over Twitter, suck a bag of dicks and choke on it. But
fuckers.
Truly, they're always trying to ice skate uphill. I don't understand.
This is why I delete
They
the
still
internet altogether, like a month before a big movie comes out.
I don't have the energy for that. But yeah, the stuff that was supposed to be fun was fun, and I had a good time with it, which was about as much as I was hoping for from this movie. So I guess to conclude, this movie was fairly predictable, but then in the end it was alright, and I hope they had the time of their lives. Back to you, Joe.
You fucker, you're gonna make me cry. 1, because you had to reference that, and then 2, you guys are killing me, man. This is kind of depressing. Tanner, bring us home. You got nice things to say about this movie.
Home.
There we go.
Before I say what I'm about to say,
Oh no.
I would
Don't you fucking dare!
I would like to preface it by saying I loved this. I adored it. I gave it 5 stars. I had an absolute blast with it. I cried. I thought the character stuff was fantastic. I thought the thematic messages were intriguing and interesting to me. That say, you might notice there's a crucial word I've been leaving out in my description of this. More specifically, you might notice that I have yet to use the word movie. That's because I don't know what the fuck these Marvel things are anymore, but it's not a fucking movie. I can tell you that much. I do not know what they are, but they're not fucking movies anymore. The big cameos of these movies, let's go through them one by one. Blade, beloved 2-film franchise that never got a 3rd movie, which is such a shame. I wish they made that rumored Blade Trinity movie, but they didn't.
Fuck you, that movie's fun.
Blade Trinity is okay at best. The second big cameo is someone from 2003's Daredevil, but they couldn't. Oh god, James.
You know what time it is, baby?
No,
What?
James.
What is that?
No.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
No.
Yes.
What is he doing?
What?
James, as I was saying, Elektra from the 2003 Daredevil movie, and not Daredevil is in this, and also Elektra starred in a horrible movie of her own called Elektra, which was the last time we saw her. And finally, Channing Tatum is Gambit, which is a reference to a movie that never even fucking happened. The only way that joke makes sense to you is if you are a, loser nerd that was really plugged into movie news 10 years ago. Because you didn't have much going on in your life. I would know. I'm one of them. What the fuck is this shit? Hugh Jackman's character art is basically a copy-paste shittier version of his character arc in Logan. What the fuck even is Deadpool's character arc in this movie? The plot is so goddamn paper thin. Why would Mr. Paradox do a fucking James Bond villain? Oh, I'm gonna kill you, but I'm gonna explain my whole plan to you. Right before he tells Deadpool about how he's gonna kill his universe in 72 hours. A guy that is known for reckless, impulsive decisions. Just felt like they did no ops research on it. I know it sounds like I'm hating on this, but no, I fucking loved this. I adored it. I just don't know what these things are anymore. They're not movies, because the things I just told you about, if basically any other type of movie tried to do this, I would be unforgiving. I would be livid at it. But when the Marvel movie does it, it works for me. It's 25 years of nostalgia, plus the fact I'm a perpetual man-child that's gonna die alone when I'm 57, that mostly fuels the fact that these movies really, again, movies really work for me. That being said, I did love this. I think that you could probably make the Channing Tatum thing work because he's doing a funny voice. Woo, you know how long I've been waiting for this? I'm about to make a name for myself here. Been saying that to myself all week. Yeah. That and I may not know my daddy, but I sure as shit shot on my daddy's dick ready. I've been saying this shit to myself for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The cameos are fun. I think the action set pieces are pretty fun. I think the jokes mostly really work. I'm also a big fan of all the Deadpool movies. I've given all the Deadpool movies, well, 2 Deadpool movies and 1 corporate product, 5 stars. In this movie, when it works, it really works. Enough for me to forgive any perceived slights with it. I think the action stuff really works. I think Ryan Reynolds' and Hugh Jackman's chemistry is fucking impeccable, remarkable, perfect. I think the fact that they get mad at each other, then have gay sex in a Honda Odyssey really works as a mid-character arc thing. Gay sex, killing each other, same difference, really. And I do want to specifically tap in on the thematic resonance thing here, which I think this movie has something to say about failure. Wade is sort of a failure of a hero. Wolverine failed to save everybody. Blade's character sort of failed to stick the landing in his film trilogy. Elektra sort of failed to stick the landing in her spinoff, and Channing Tatum's Gambit sort of failed to fucking exist. There's a lot of failure going on in how, and the marketing talks about this, how everyone deserves a chance, a second chance, or just a chance to be a hero. Everyone deserves a chance to make a name of themselves. Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself. Everyone deserves that chance. We joke, but everybody deserves that chance. And I think that's the fundamental thing that the movie is trying to communicate. Even if you fail over and over again, you are worthy of a chance to try and do something with it. And I think that's where the movie really works, is in that thematics. And the character arc, of course, also works. I know I just said it was a shitty copy paste of Hugh Jackman's character arc in Logan, but it's a good thing that it's a really fucking good character arc to begin with, right? A shitty imitation of something beautiful is still pretty okay. At its core, I think this, whatever this thing is, really works. But at the same time, I have to say, I don't know what the fuck these Marvel things are anymore. I'm gonna be there for them. I'm gonna watch them no matter what. I have still only disliked one of these things, which is Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is so fucking bad. Oh my God.
I still haven't even watched Werewolf.
That one was awesome. Werewolf by Night was like one of the cooler things they put out.
I still haven't seen it.
It's great. I mean, well, it's very good.
Yeah, anyway, point being is I'm gonna be watching these things no matter what because I like them and I have a lot of fun with them, and they make me emotional a lot of the time because these are the characters I grew up with. And on that note, the mid-credit scene, that was one of the two things in this movie that really got me to cry. That and when Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman saved the day with the power of friendship, while Like a Prayer, Madonna parentheses epic version by Sex DJ 3927 on YouTube was playing. Sorry, but the Sex DJ 3927 remix of Like a Little Prayer just really fucking works for me. And they're doing these like monologue things like, when I finally feel worthy, all that shit really works for me. And I'm not ashamed to admit that it was really cool to see Hugh in the outfit with the white eyes. I can't believe they actually went there with the white eyes, and that was fucking awesome.
His was animated too.
And James Gunn, I say this to you. Robert Pattinson, don't touch him, but for the DCU Batman, please, just try. Just try it with the white eyes. If it looks like shit, fine, whatever. I just ask you to try. In conclusion, I think this really, really works. I loved it. I can't emphasize that enough because I know there is going to be a bunch of nerds in the comments, which I am a nerd. I am one of you. You're all going to be mad at me because I said something remotely negative about it. I can't emphasize this enough. I love this. I probably love this more than everyone else here. But I don't know what this is. I just know it's not a fucking movie. Back to you, Joe.
All right. Might as well get my heartbreak out of the way. Austin, you're up, buddy. Hurt me. Right here. Right fucking here!
I don't know. This was one of the first movies since Endgame where I felt like spoilers were actually hunting me down. Like a gazelle in the Serengeti. I opened Twitter for exactly 3 seconds on July 26th and immediately found out that Blade is in this thing and Deadpool digs up Wolverine's grave. I mean, we're talking Mission Impossible 7 go off the grid level precautions required to keep these cameos secret. And this kind of behavior isn't even the norm for me. I usually don't sweat about spoilers because with great movies, it's about the journey, not the destination, man. But when it came to Deadpool and Wolverine, something about those desaturated trailers with the kind of scattershot imagery, it had me cautious. I mean, new studio, new handlers, 5 whole credited screenwriters, which we all know is a good sign. Yeah, for this one, I did sweat about the spoilers, because I knew there was a distinct possibility that the only strong feelings this movie was guaranteed to elicit might be from those surprise multiverse cameos. Now I know this isn't gonna shock a single one of you, but I think they whiffed it. My central complaint here is a fairly common one that you'll find everywhere online. This movie's like a bad check. It's all void. I'll admit, the first 35 minutes of this movie had a really exciting ratio of bits that landed and moments that kicked ass, but then our beefy boys get booted into the boring shit central and don't climb out of like the Dark Knight Rises ass fan service bit until the hour 30 mark. I shit you not. And then, like a Russian nesting doll of half-assed shit, those mind-blowing cameos all spark no substance. It occurred to me today that The Wizard of Oz does a better job of giving its supporting characters brief to execute believable business than this $200 million blockbuster that was made 100 years in the future. They had 5 whole screenwriters, remember? How hard would it have been to give Blade, Elektra, and Gambit actual payoffs in the plot? If I had a nickel for every tweet about Andrew Garfield catching Zendaya, I'd be yacht neighbors with Jeff fucking Bezos by next week. But apparently, that ancient screenwriting technique was lost somewhere between fucking Zoom meetings about the funniest slang terms for Frosty the Blowman. God! This pace isn't sustainable, so there's so many of us today. It's just like the shitty middle half of this movie. I'm gonna have to make like Schindler and do a list. 1. Shameful Wolverine's backstory did not land for me. Should have either had visuals or been more tragic at its core. 2. Climax of the 2 guys standing still and taking the Time Raveler's knife was not dynamic and kind of fell flat. 3. Making Deadpool a sad sack car salesman who lost his girlfriend and feels insecure about not being an Avenger felt like a really disappointing way to build on the previous 2 films. 4. Cassandra Nova was a shitty final boss. Flimsy ass motive. She would have been a god wherever she went. She had no reason to try to avoid everything. 5. TVA looked better on actual TV. 6. They interrupted the expensive old boy style wonder with a reaction shot. 7. The Wade and Vanessa dialogue in the flashback was lame as shit. That made me sad. 8. The action sequences that involve more than 2 people are remarkably easy to fall asleep to for me for some reason. And I say all this as somebody who recently rewatched the first 2 Deadpool movies and think they hold up really well. Clearly, Sean Levy did not have the sauce. People wanted this to be a, climactic melding of huge forces, like Michael Mann's Heat, or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But instead, Deadpool and Wolverine is more akin to this director's previous franchise, which featured, a bunch of big names and famous faces. Night at the Museum. Even when it's 25 years in the making, a carnival ride is still just a fucking carnival ride. Maybe they should have hired another screenwriter. Back to you, Tanner.
I'm sorry, Tanner.
I'm in control again, thank you very
No,
much.
you fucking aren't!
James the Nerd, please go ahead.
Look what you fucking did, Austin. Yeah, it's like, that punch you gave already was kind of hard, but that was just the KO. You motherfucker.
James, please bring us back by being mostly positive about this.
He gave Tanner the talking pillow. So I love this movie. It was the first movie I've seen in a long time, actually. Last one I saw was the Toby movies back in theaters. I haven't been really going to the movies much. But I really loved the fact that it did take place in the void. Sorry, Austin. I liked seeing more of that on a movie level scale as opposed to in Loki, where they can only do some certain things due to licensing and stuff that have to do with oh, there's a building in the background I recognize. Oh, there's a Thor character in a bottle. It does, it being on a movie scale and seeing a lot of the Easter eggs in the background was kind of cool just to sit down and ooh and ah at, because that's all these movies are now. It's just there's a dude from 25 years ago playing the same role again. It's just all it is now, and I've been really disappointed with that as lately. Even Hugh Jackman, I wasn't exactly thrilled about him coming back because it was a perfect ending, and just they're bringing him back for what? They're gonna recast him, or they're gonna keep him until the MCU ends? What are they doing?
Till he's 90.
Till he's 90.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be in Secret Wars, and then they're gonna recast or whatever. I don't know. I wanted them to recast, but I loved the choice of cameos. Was very smart because I thought there were gonna be so many more than there were, and I'm glad they limited it down. They talked it up like it was going to be this huge culmination of 20th Century Fox, and it was a lot of characters that I wouldn't have guessed. Well, even though I did guess two of them. I really liked the Cap setup because people in my theater were stupid and didn't realize it wasn't Human Torch. Didn't realize it was Human Torch, rather. That was amazing, and seeing Blade again, especially after the years of them not liking each other. Which, did you guys see the interview where he's like, "We were kidding the whole time. We love each other." Wesley said, that's bullshit.
Right behind Wesley, Disney's backing another Brinks truck full of cash into his mansion.
Yeah.
Well, not his mansion because of the tax stuff, but
and because of his lack of Hollywood in the past 15 years. But
hey, he was in an Expendables movie, I think.
He was. That was supposed to be his comeback.
Supposed to be. I love seeing him, and I love seeing.
Hey, I'm the one dressed as Deadpool, motherfucker. You're not supposed to be making those jokes.
Sorry, James. Go ahead.
I'm close enough. I loved Channing Tatum. Obviously, he's the star of the movie. I think, as far as surprises comes, I think he was perfect because his movie obviously wouldn't have been this Gambit. It wouldn't have been this goofy. It would have been more serious in tone and wouldn't have been as funny. But they got to actually make it Channing Tatum Gambit, and I think that was perfect. I was so happy for him, knowing how much he put into the character as well, trying to get the movie off the ground. It never did. It was really cool to see that 10 years later, especially the photo he recreated with Rein at Comic-Con. It was cool to see him wearing the same exact shirt. The plot, I agree. I couldn't even tell you. But it's the same thing as No Way Home. We're I don't care. Just give me what I want. Just give me the ooh-ahs. Just let me go home. I think it was good. I didn't like the fact they returned back to the Fox universe because it kind of leaves it weird ending for Deadpool, who the whole point of the movie was to join the MCU, and he's like stuck in a dead universe now. Because like we're no longer making movies in that, not like that, not in the movie lore. Like they're not making movies of the Fox
Movies
universe
are
anymore.
canceled. Pack it up, everybody. This truly killed Hollywood.
I mean, it just feels weird to me that he's not actually in the 616 now. I thought they would do something where merge it.
Side note, it is pissing me off they are insisting on calling this thing 616. That is the goddamn comics universe. Sorry, that is the one nerdy bullshit I'm gonna do.
Me too. It annoys me because you could easily have these comic characters appear in the movie, but you know, they're animated. But yes, the ending made me cry. The Green Day, I was like a little baby because those were my movies. That was my MCU growing up. Like that was my favorite. I love the Fantastic Four to this day. Love Fantastic Four movies. Yeah, it was exactly what it was. Just like a little. It was a fun ride, and exactly that's all it was. It was just a theme park ride, but I loved every second of it. Back to you, Joe.
All right, thank you for giving me my hosting duties back, James, because some motherfuckers are trying to ice skate uphill, but they ain't going to, motherfucker! All right, my time to shine, my thoughts on the movie. Okay, so, did I like this movie? I did. Is it flawed? Abso-fucking-lutely it is. I'm going to go into this a hell of a lot deeper in a separate video, so I won't really touch upon it here. But I think the biggest missed opportunity in this movie is not involving all of Wade's found family in this. They are extremely underutilized, and they were part of the heart and soul of the especially 2. Specifically 2. They are the heart and soul of 2. A little less so 1, but they are kind of the heart and soul of 1 as well. I think they needed a bigger role, and I think they needed to be in the movie more than they were. Hot take, I like Peter. I don't think he's the funniest one out there, and I wish he had a little less screen time compared to everyone else. I wish Colossus was there more.
See Colossus working at the car place.
That'd be great. That would be so funny. Are you kidding me? How are you a better writer than this, James? What the fuck?
That would actually be incredible.
It's like a fucking gimme. How did they not think of that themselves? Yeah, whatever. Sure.
I think the other side characters needed to be more in this than Peter. Peter's a funny character, though. I'm not shitting on him. He's a little one note. He's a little one note for me, though, in these movies, and not as funny as people make him out to be, or as Ryan Reynolds thinks he is. Like everyone's been saying, there's barely there's enough to get a movie made, but there's barely a fucking plot here.
Movie.
Yeah, these movies have officially become not movies. They're theme park rides. There's like a thin semblance of a plot, and then they just kind of throw it out the window. The thematics are there, and they're strong when they really focus on it. I wish they focused on it the entire fucking movie. And you have cameo characters that 100% work with those thematics. They throw it out the fucking window after, like, maybe 5 minutes. There's a lot of stuff that I wish that they could have done with this movie. With that said, I'm gonna get the positives out of the way. Right out of the fucking gate, as a Deadpool fan since I was in high school, I was in fucking tears during the opening credits of this movie, and I'll give you a little bit of inside baseball here. So when I was in high school, I wrote out an entire Deadpool movie, and then later revised it to be a sequel after the first one came out. And it very much opened up. It was supposed to be like Deadpool's way of poking fun at the intro to Guardians of the Galaxy. And he's kind of dancing around with katanas and guns, slicing and dicing henchmen. But he's completely unaware of it. Like, he's just having fun singing and dancing, and just these people are dying in the background without him knowing. All set to the song Workin' for the Weekend by Loverboy.
Nice.
I was off by him not being aware of the henchman, and I was off by the song. With that said, it was like watching that high school script come to life.
Wow.
I was in such high fucking spirits when that happened. And understandably, it's one of the most leaked scenes of the movie after its release, and understandably so. It is a very fun way to open the movie. Ryan Reynolds, he kills it as ever. Again, the cameo characters that they do have there, I did worry that they were just going to be kind of shoehorned in, and they weren't, but they kind of were. I will say, though, with that being said, when Blade fucking walks out of that, you can ask any of the employees that I work with, when I was watching this at the employee screening, when Blade showed up, I fucking levitated out of my seat.
Yeah.
I was losing it. I did not think that was going to happen, and then it happened, and I got so excited. Sure, the some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill line is absolutely forced in there. It's very much the something of a scientist myself line of this movie. But I don't care. It's the greatest line in cinema history being rehashed to me. I'm gonna take it.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
I did like Cassandra Nova as the villain. Hot take, maybe. I don't know. I really like Cassandra Nova in this, and I really like that actress's performance in it. I wish that she was just in a traditional X-Men movie as opposed to this movie.
Yes.
Because Cassandra Nova in the comics is a great character and deserves to be adapted. She's like one of the best X-Men villains ever. And for what we got, I think we got like the closest approximation to getting a great movie where she's the villain. I wish it could have been done better. Overall, fun time. I loved it. That mid-credit scene made me cry like a bitch.
Yeah.
One, because I binge-watched the entire series prior to seeing Deadpool and Wolverine, and I'd been watching some of the Fox movies too, kind of in between. And also, kind of like James, I've grew up with these fucking movies, man. I remember
for the record, same.
I remember when X-Men came out in theaters and wanted to see it. I've been playing with Hugh Jackman's action figure since I was fucking 4 years old, dude. Honestly, that mid-credit scene made me go, you know, I don't want to see Ryan Reynolds or Hugh Jackman play these characters anymore. This is
That was me.
It's not the best. It's maybe not the best conclusion. But are we really gonna let these movies end on New Mutants? I don't fucking think so. I had a fun time with it. Let's close the book on these guys. I had the time of my life, and I believe a lot of people did with this one too.
Till he's 90.
Till he's 90, I guess. Damn it, you guys are buzzkills this episode. Let's cut to commercial.
I loved this thing, for the record. I loved whatever this thing is. I can't emphasize that enough.
Fuck you, Tanner. And we're back from that commercial for another commercial. Do you like movies? Do you like fine art? Well, we got just the thing for you. It's called MoviePalette.com. In the background of Tanner's thing, you can see his right underneath his Funkos. Great place to fucking put it. But that one's for Punch Drunk Love. In the corner over by Tim's Mandy poster, as he points to it, he's got one for Mandy. You can get those there. You might want to wait on Deadpool and Wolverine, but like all of the other Deadpool movies prior to this, except for maybe two, it's probably going to be gray. Very, very gray.
Yeah, the Deadpool and Wolverine one's just like gray. Oh, that's when they were doing the matter antimatter thing.
Yep. All gray. Heck, if you want something else custom made for you, you want one made for Rock and Roll High School. That's the obscure movie I'm pulling out today.
Rock and Roll High School.
They can make that for you. And then, yeah, just put that order in, and while you're putting that order in, type in the code SQUAD15 to save 15% off of your order at checkout. All right, with that out of the way, let us jump into general discussion. Wolverine has his hand raised like a little baby boy. Go ahead.
So I meant to bring this up during it. I like I want to emphasize this. I like the Blade cameo. Okay? I like the Blade cameo. This whole movie is a celebration of the 20th Century Fox movies. It's a whole celebration of what those X-Men movies were, what those Fantastic Four movies were. They even put the Fan Four stick behind the scenes in the credits, and it actually made me feel something about that movie other than abject anger. With that being said, in regards to the Blade cameo, that movie was made by New Line Cinema.
Doesn't matter.
Shut the fuck up, Tanner.
The movie wasn't made by Fox. I'm just putting that out there.
Tanner, shut the fuck up.
Because you notice how they couldn't put any Blade BTS in the credits because they don't own the fucking behind-the-scenes footage to those movies.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I'm sorry. I just like, I remembered that because I remember the first time seeing it, like, oh, that's weird. They didn't put any Blade footage in the credits. And then I'm going on. I'm like, that's because New Line fucking Cinema made those movies.
Well, the movie didn't allow, like, Kevin Feige said no drugs, and all the Blade BTS is just Wesley smoking J's. Like, the whole fucking time. It's just
Because you know what this movie needed? A 30-second sequence just saying different slangs for cocaine. I really, really loved this. I can't emphasize that enough.
Hey, they gave
It's
us...
just funny to make fun of it, too.
Hey, listen, they gave us some interaction with Blind Al, and whenever they have Blind Al on screen, that shit's funny.
Speaking of Blade, let's bring it up. Let's just get right into the controversy here, boys. Blade says the R word.
Oh, yeah.
Sure did.
How do we feel about that?
I identify as a feminist.
See, that was fucking funny.
The movie has moments like that. Like when he's like, I'm gender blind. I know it's pronounced him. Like there were moments where I was just like, who are they doing this for? I didn't mind it at all. I'm not like that. It's just, you know, you ever wonder if somebody was like gaming it out on an abacus where they're like, so the critical drinker's a thing. What if we made him say the R word? You know?
I guarantee you the critical drinker still hated this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it was vaguely gay.
That's fair. You just wonder if, like, Disney, like, handled it a little bit differently, you know? They were trying to be subversive in a certain direction you wouldn't expect and put that shit in there. Why did they make Blade say that word, Tanner? What's your guess?
So I think it was an attempt at a joke about how because the Blade movies are so old, he's a little out of touch.
See, that's a good charitable reading of it.
I am being very charitable when I say that. And I'm inclined to believe that's what they were going for, because I found a lot of like the jokes about the woke mob. Everyone being like, there's a bunch of people on Twitter that are like criticizing this the wrong way. Sorry. They're all like talking about the woke mob. See how reactionary and conservative this is? First off, all the fucking MCU movies are conservative. Half of them are goddamn military propaganda. Get with the times. Secondly, are you stupid? That's clearly making fun of the types of people that are like, oh, good, the woke mob. It's making fun of that. I thought, at least very clearly. But then again, I'm the same person that has made questionable jokes by pretending to be the thing that I'm making fun of. That's a hard line to draw. I would know the nation of Japan is still very mad at me.
To add to that,
okay, but how did everyone else feel about the R word thing?
I didn't.
I will say,
so I can't say.
I will say, out of the two movies of the last year that used the R word, this was the less funny one. Poor Things, now on Disney Plus.
Yeah!
Oh my god, I forgot about that. I will admit that it made me laugh. I think that was mostly out of shock. The second time I did not laugh. And you want to know the big joke that did not make me laugh both times?
What?
The fucking Oscar slap joke just hit a very wrong note for me. Which is a shame because the whole like throwing the sword at the ground, sliding through his mouth, that was funny. And then keep my country's name out your fucking, and I was just like, really?
I liked it. I liked it in tandem with the just fucking executing him by bouncing a sword. I thought the moment worked well together, you know? Oh, that was a good joke.
I wish the opening credits still had
Is this
fake
the one
credits.
positive
Sorry.
thing Austin said?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? My favorite joke in the movie, I laughed so fucking hard, was when he grabbed the camera and said, "Suck it, Fox! I'm going to Disneyland!"
That was a good one.
That was
And
fucking
headbutted the
hilarious.
fucking thing. Oh my god.
What was everyone's
I like
favorite?
this.
Everyone's favorite bit.
I did like masturbating. That was almost good.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I kind of settle on a simple one. I'm a really big fan of The Proposal.
I can gently tap the fourth wall.
I'm sorry, that killed me. Especially his little like, what the fuck was that, bitch? Do you think that's what I do?
What about Tanner? Did you like My Boy's Wicked Strong when Wolverine like leaps out?
Oh, I lost my shit at that. I also like the reference to the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Where he was like, I am Marvel Jesus, you dull creature, which is like the same thing Loki says before he gets his shit fucked in. But speaking of that scene, I swear to God, I love this movie. It's a shame that by far the best Wolverine suit in this movie is the brown and yellow one, and it's only there for like 15 seconds. I love yellow and blue. I have been a long proponent that brown and yellow is the superior one.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And I was just happy to see it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just gonna say it. They should have just been stupid and made that the Ang Lee Hulk in that scene.
That's what I said before. I wanted a 2003 Hulk.
Instead of it, I noticed, I recognized the exact shot. It was a shot from Ragnarok.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
My favorite bit in it was probably the I mean, I loved the divorce joke about Hugh Jackman.
That was great. When there was like Daredevil died and Jennifer Garner was like,
what?
Not that bad.
Actually,
Who died?
James, shut the fuck up.
Actually, I'm gonna say this about the Jennifer Garner Ben Affleck divorce joke that is made in it. That one doesn't work for me because it's Elektra also breaking the fourth wall in that scene.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Deadpool's the only one that can really do that. It's got to be one character, or they all got to do it.
Or maybe in the movie itself, her and Daredevil like. Don't, you know, it could make sense without being a
for me. I think the joke works on two levels. Unfortunately, both are fourth wall breaks. One is it referencing Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner's real life divorce. The other, which is a happy accident of the movie, referencing the fact that Ben Affleck is once again almost certainly going through a divorce.
I think that actually got confirmed recently. So, yeah.
Whoops.
Show business.
You know what? Another thing that like accidentally became a different joke from when they wrote it. When they wrote that whole "there's only ever going to be one Blade" joke, and Deadpool looks at the screen, 100% a joke about how there was going to be a new Blade movie coming out when they wrote and shot that. And now that's a joke about how will another Blade movie ever fucking come out? Because I don't know.
I think that was the point the whole time because it's been getting delayed since they were filming.
Hey, Kevin Feige, speaking of that unproduced Blade movie, give me a call. I've got an idea for a solid 90-minute movie. It is literally just Blade fighting vampires. That is it. Yeah. That's all you fucking need. It's not that difficult!
See, we say that, and yet a solid 50% of Blade content is arguably pretty bad.
The CW show slaps.
That's the 50% I'm talking about.
I've never seen it.
I learned shockingly little while trying to research press junkets about this film, people being interviewed. Lots of really bland shit was said. But among the rare gems was Emma Corrin, the actor who played Cassandra Nova, based their performance off of two other famous film villains. Anybody got a guess? Anybody?
I got this.
Tanner.
Master of Disguise.
The turtle scene specifically from
the one that happened on 9/11?
Never forget.
Did they make a 9/11 joke in this? Probably not.
No, I don't think they did.
No, I wish.
Gubernatorial.
Okay, sorry, that was the funniest part of the movies when he just goes, gubernatorial.
Number one was Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. That was partially what they based the performance
I see it.
Number two, way out of left field, Hans Landa, the Jew hunter from Inglourious Bastards. Can you imagine them? Hans Landa, the Nazi. Just fucking, can you imagine them just at a press junket for a Disney movie? Just like, yeah, I was doing research for the role. I thought the lead Nazi in that Tarantino film was so like my character. I was surprised, but it makes sense.
We mentioned 9/11 and Nazis within the same minute.
Yeah.
We are getting demonetized.
They be like, I channeled a Nazi in my performance. I think Walt would be proud.
Walt, put your dick away, Walter. I'm not having sex with you.
It's not worth it.
Walter. Don't be a racist, Walter.
I will say I did have fun with the Nice Pool character just because I'm a big fan of Power Rangers Zeo, and it was just nice to see Tommy Oliver in the red suit again.
It was beautiful. It was great.
Where's your mask? Come on, guys.
They missed such a good opportunity there because it could have so easily been that like that was supposed to be the MCU Deadpool because he looked like the Thor's hair, handsome face, the MCU-ified suit. I thought that was going to be the joke, but it was that they were going to say it was the MCU's version of Deadpool.
What are the chances that that fake Thor thing we saw actually becomes a thing in one of these Avengers movies?
I think it's going to be Secret Wars. They're going to pay it off.
That's one of the running bits in this that just did not work for me either.
It didn't entirely work for me, but the part when he wakes up and he's just like, Thor crying, that got me to laugh. I'm not going to lie. That was funny.
Yeah, but there's other bits in some of the Avengers movies that we only saw towards Endgame that paid off certain moments. Like, I think this is going to be one of those moments they clearly set up for a future movie. Like, other moments were more naturally brought into, like, Endgame. Like, the hammer bit from Age of Ultron, where he's like, oh, I knew it! It was set up previously. Like, there's certain things like that in other movies. This was done purposely to put in another movie.
Yeah, like, I was gonna text Tanner before this. I was like, this is probably a dumb question, but I haven't watched Loki season 2. Is this Deadpool Thor thing a thing in the show? What the fuck was that?
Yeah, they had a love scene.
That's true. That did happen in the show. Loki season 2.
Full penetration.
Loki season 2 was a disappointing drop off from season 1. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I'm with you.
The finale saves everything.
Let me look. No, the finale does not fix everything because you know what the fucking problem with Loki season 2 is.
Yes, let's talk about Loki on this podcast about not Loki.
Shut the fuck up! I'm the god. Loki season 1. The most important part of it is the love story between Loki and Sylvie. Isn't it really fucking fascinating that season 2 just completely drops that?
Oh, look at that! I hated.
Yeah, that's my problem with it. Sorry, Well, tune in to Agatha All Along, starring Rein and Tanner, to find out more about my opinion of these TV shows, because I'm going to force Rein to watch these till he's 90.
It's a shame, because I actually liked Loki Season 2.
I heard one absolutely spectacular story about Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, their friendship. Apparently, one day, Ryan Reynolds got home to his New York apartment, and he heard his kids, like, watching The Greatest Showman over in the living room. But as he actually got closer to his kids, he noticed they weren't alone. There he was, Hugh Jackman, standing in front of the TV, singing along and doing choreography to The Greatest Showman.
Yep, I would have died being in that room.
I actually think they're friends from watching interviews on this. I think I misestimated what Hugh Jackman is like in private. Like, has anyone seen the video of him with the laptop watching the final fight scene?
Yeah.
Like,
He looks so happy.
I've met him.
Yeah. Oh, you met him?
Yeah.
What?
I'll send a picture, but yeah, I was walking through Times Square. I'm in New Jersey, but I'm right next to New York. So I went to New York to film my old project of Realization, and I was walking to Central Park to film 2 shots, and I hear an Australian accent next to me. And I look over, and I literally did like the cartoon double take, where I was like, oh my god, like he's on the phone. I'm like, oh, that's Hugh Jackman. Holy shit. And I knew his theater was coming up because I knew he was in a Music Man at the time, which Music Man joke made me chuckle. Because I'm right here, I've seen the post, I've seen the commercials, I'm all over here, so the Music Man joke really got me. But he got off the phone, and I was like, of course, I went with the Mr. Jackman, and I was, yeah, and we were talking, he was like, very quietly like, because we were obviously in the middle of Times Square, and and I was just like, hey, just really love your work, Greatest Showman is like my favorite movie of all time, and of course, Wolverine, but yeah, I love everything that you've been in, blah, blah. He's like, oh, thank you so much, and I was like, I hate to be that guy, but is it possible I can get a photo when we get to your theater? When you get to your theater. He's like, yeah. So we got a picture. It's just, he's behind the barricade and I'm in front. So he was still wearing a mask at the time because it was 2021. But yeah, yeah. He was just as enthusiastic to talk about Greatest Showman as I was. So it was, yeah, he's definitely, just as much as you're saying in the interviews and stuff. Like, he's such a cool guy.
Speaking of The Greatest Showman, I wish the song was in here more.
Yes!
I was kind of disappointed it only played for like a second.
Which, by
Why
the
would
way,
they put
earlier
it in
in
the
the
fucking
podcast,
soundtrack?
You guys might have heard that. That is my text tone. I forgot to silence my phone. But earlier on, it happened during this podcast. Hopefully somebody goes back and hears it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, they should have like made that fight scene cut between the two songs.
I think a bit that would have really worked, speaking of it cutting between the two songs, he's getting his head slammed into the fucking radio a lot. It should have just gone back and forth between the both and just kind of let them play. Because, yeah, it is kind of funny that The Greatest Showman's music's playing in the movie, but you're the one that I want. You're the one that I want is fine. It works.
It was great, for the record. That whole fight scene was great. I liked all the fight scenes. I got to see Wolverine fucking crawl around on all fours.
He fucking pounced!
I got to see him pretend to... I got to see them do a shot where they trick your brain into thinking he's smoking a cigar for half a second.
Yeah.
Because he won't smoke anymore. We haven't seen him put a cigar in his mouth since Days of Future Past.
Yep.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe in drugs and whatever and smoking on film.
What happened to The Last Stand where he's in the danger room and he's just trying to light a cigar on a pile of fire? That shit was funny.
Hey, honestly, at this point, smoking took away David Lynch's film career. I'm fine with it being out of movies.
Yeah.
No, he updated. He's fine. He's never retiring. Go to Twitter. You'll see.
David Lynch will literally never die.
I love,
and you know what?
I hope this cuts to like a breaking news notification that he passed away.
The Russos have left. The Russos have left. David Lynch will be directing Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars.
My headache is becoming a migraine.
Out of the fucking ground, Dino De Laurentiis rises from the grave, ready to fuck up these Marvel movies.
If fucking the Elephant Man just walks in through a portal, I'm going, yeah.
The Lynch Extended Universe. Fucking Laura Palmer comes in to save the day. Did you guys know Wesley
Nick Cage's character from Wild at Heart walks in through the portals during Endgames. Look at Thanos and his thugs and go, what do you want?
Speaking of slurs, did you guys know Wesley Snipes broke 2 Guinness World Records appearing in this film? That's right. He narrowly beat out Hugh Jackman as longest career as a live-action Marvel character.
Whatever the fuck that means.
They're made up. And he beat out Alfred Molina for the record of longest gap between character appearances in live-action Marvel films.
That is more legit.
2 records. 2. One
First
for
one
each
should be
Blade
active
movie.
career playing these characters.
What does it have to do with slurs?
Wesley Snipes.
Say one, Alistair. You heard it quick. Make it make sense.
Thank you for explaining that one, Joe.
Because I never got to share my favorite bit. I actually have 2. The one bit, I think I'm gonna share the first one right out of the way because I know it's right in my head. You did the gubernatorial one, Tanner.
Gubernatorial.
I think the one that got me to really laugh happens during that scene as well. It's I made an educated wish. And just
my coworker said that to me today, and I died.
And just Hugh Jackman's reaction to it, I'm sorry, did you just fucking say you made an educated wish? The other one is also a Hugh Jackman quote. They're at all the Deadpool Corps comes out and they're firing at him, and Deadpool's going on a whole thing about how Nice Pool dies in that movie, and then after he does his whole spiel, Wolverine just goes, "He died from murder, you dumb fuck."
Yeah, it's like the delivery of that line was perfect. Just, he died of murder, you dumb fuck. So good.
He died of murder. Imagine the news. This just in.
I also did love in the diner scene where it's like, I wear a toupee, nobody knows. He just chuckles. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
My favorite bit in that diner scene was the
fuck that liver.
The part where he's like, "Have you been tested for ADHD?" Mm-mm. I just fucking love that because that was the most ADHD shit I've ever seen. Just that fucking mm-mm.
I love that. Ooh, fuck that liver. I love that line.
Yeah, I love how he's drinking rubbing alcohol.
He's Wolverine. He can regenerate. It's fine.
Yeah.
So let's talk about all the cameos that like get like a second of screen time. Like Psylocke. Sabretooth, the Fantasticar. And Joe had to find this out after the fact. Black Bullseye.
Oh
I
yeah.
was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
so,
like a character dressed up as
new
Colin
band
Firth's
name.
character from Bullseye. But
Colin
he's
Farrell.
black.
Black
Yeah, I'm
Bullseye
sorry,
is my new band
I'm
name.
sorry, Colin Firth's Bullseye is also an excellent character. Hold on.
I'm trying to imagine Colin Firth acting like
Amazing
Colin Farrell
casting.
as Bullseye with the Eminem music.
He's
amazing.
wearing the same outfit he's doing from
Y'all
Kingsman
act like
2,
you-
though.
Y'all act like you've never seen a white person before.
Yeah, I was about to say
What the
Colin Farrell.
fuck was Deadpool? Or, I'm sorry,
Colin
Daredevil.
Farrell is Black Bullseye. What are you guys talking about?
I'm
He's
sorry,
in
I
that
forgot Colin Farrell is black.
movie. In that movie.
Yeah, the Penguin is black.
We're so canceled.
Yeah.
Not as
Fuck it.
canceled as Passion of the Christ. Suck dick. 20
You know
year
what?
record.
I'm
Suck
glad that some... Who
I
has
didn't
seen
mention Passion of the Christ in the second movie.
All right, so 4 of us have seen Passion of the Christ.
Oh, me too.
I'm gonna say it. I don't
He
think
deserved
that's a
it.
good movie.
That's fair.
I'm gonna say it. Jesus deserved it.
You know, he broke the law.
Son of God. More like son of a bitch. Hater.
Honestly, the best version of Deadpool, the best version of this movie would have just been that the greatest crossover ever thing, that like Flash animation video.
The ultimate
they
show,
should've-
or the epic showdown of Ultimate Destiny,
Yeah,
or whatever.
this is just like a bigger,
Like the old
expensive,
Lemon Demon
lesser
song.
version of that.
Just wait till Secret Wars. You know, I'm just gonna say it out of the way. These aren't fucking movies anymore. The plots are only gonna get more nonsensical. But you know what? When Secret Wars happen, and I get to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine shake Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man little hands, I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna come and I'm gonna shit my pants like a little baby. But
Why
I'm
did I
gonna
get
fucking love
emotional?
it. I know, right? Like, I'm
And
sorry,
Ang Lee's
it's
Hulk. I
gonna
want to
get
see
me.
Ang Lee's Hulk. Throw it back.
I'm starting to think if he didn't show up in this one, he's never fucking showing up.
Yeah.
I think Eric Bana was once asked, like, would he ever reprise the Hulk? And he just stared at the
They
interviewer
don't
like,
need Eric Bana. Just fucking make Green Hulk.
they just need Ang Lee. Ang Lee did the motion capture on that movie.
Just kidding,
Wait,
Lee. Yeah.
what?
Oh, yeah, Ang Lee did the motion capture. Ang Lee plays Hulk in that movie, not
He also
Eric
played
Bana.
the tiger in Life of Pi.
That's true. I was the boat. Whatever it takes to get those two in the room talking to each other, I don't care. But
Yeah.
that actually reminds me, there was this like fake leak that came out recently talking about the plot of the Kang Dynasty and how it was going to be all these anchor beings, including Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man teaming up and how they'd be the leads. And I'm sorry, I refuse to believe any piece of fiction that tries to tell me that Tobey Maguire is going to put more than a week's worth of work into any of these fucking movies.
Amen.
You're lying. Tobey might have a fairly substantial role in one of these movies.
But it'll be small.
Not the lead.
Yeah.
A small but substantial.
No, not the lead of the movie, but lead of like the Avengers team. I think in the canon.
Tobey
of the movie.
Maguire?
Yeah, I think they said that him and Hugh were gonna be like the inter-universal
Anchor beings, whatever. I don't believe that
Avengers,
leak
yeah.
for the record. I think it's a lie. I think these people are making shit up. Oh, they're not making Avengers Kang Dynasty anymore. I actually knew the plot of the movie the whole time. Okay. Sure.
We were gonna get McDonald's until you started acting like this.
Yeah, there was actually in Kang there was supposed to be a giant orgy scene between all the Kangs and
The Kang Gang Bang.
Yeah, the Kang Gang Bang.
That
Hallelujah.
was the joke, dude. I was just getting there. Yeah, my friend's name is Kang, so I had this joke like in the bag.
With regards to Kang, I've been talking to Joe about this. I think Avengers Doomsday, they should just like keep cutting to that room of all the Kangs in the room. The gag is that like they lock the door and they can't unlock it from the inside. So it just cuts to them perpetually like trying to kill the time, like they're playing Go Fish or playing poker.
Yeah, it's literally it's the
All
only time
CGI
that
Jonathan Majors.
they'll bring Jonathan Majors back. It's the only time they'll do it. They'll just be like, "Yeah, we can't get out." Okay, well, what about the it only goes one way.
The teleport
Opening
goes
scene
one
is him
way.
having a
That's
heart
what
attack.
we have the door for. No, the opening scene is that fucking Itchy and Scratchy Kang died on the way back to his home planet.
End post credit scene of that movie. It's they're all just kind of standing there quiet, and he just goes, "I spy with my little eye." They all respond, "Me, Damn it!
How are you guys so good at this?
Let's wrap this bad boy up, motherfuckers. All right, let's get into our final thoughts of the movie. Rein, we'll pass it off to you first.
And a very adequate time. Bald sibling character. That actor did a great job. Great. I mean, good chemistry all around with the whole cast. A very alright time. The end. I probably had other thoughts, but I forgot them. Anyway, back to you, Joe.
All right, Austin, final thoughts.
The charitable part of me is pissed that the first 1/4 of this movie is significantly funnier than the 90 minutes of key jangling that follows. The uncharitable part of me is kind of bummed that a franchise which previously used great writing to compensate for its B-movie production values suddenly shits out the screenplay the second it's made with A-list cash. I'm happy for the concessions we got, just like everybody else on the internet, but I'm not trying to pretend what we got was a prize here. So, back to you.
All right, James, final thoughts.
I enjoyed it. Like, at this point in the MCU, I think MCU ended at Endgame, and this is just like the shit dripping out the ass of the end of Endgame. It's an MCU movie. What else do you want?
All right,
Back to
Tim.
you.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Final thoughts.
Like you kind of alluded to earlier, Joe, I haven't been super blown away by a lot of movies this year. Like, we have a couple of movies like Love Lies Bleeding and I Saw the TV Glow that have really stuck out for me personally. But other than that, a lot of it has just kind of slid by the wayside. I don't think Deadpool and Wolverine's going to be a movie that sticks with me a whole lot after this edit. But if you have the $10 for admission and you want a fun roller coaster ride, go see Longlegs in theaters now. Back to you, Joe.
Longlegs, good movie. All right, Tanner, before you start saying anything, I'm going to pass hosting duties off to you, and I'm going to get my final thoughts out of the way. I gotta give love to my co-star, buddy, and I'll let you take over. All right, my final thoughts. I liked it. I think this is honestly the perfect, not the perfect way to end the MCU for me at this point. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 would have been a much, much better finale for the MCU for me, but I've stopped giving a shit about these movies for so fucking long. I was really invested in that X-Men universe, and it had its lows, but they tried to be different, and they hold a special place in my heart. Deadpool holds a special place in my heart, not just the movies, but as a character. So I was going to see it either way, and I got my money's worth out of it. Could it have been better? Absolutely, it could have been. But when your movie features Dogpool, aka the best character in the fucking movie, that dog, I love that dog to death. I can't complain. I can't complain that this is the movie that we got. It was fun for what it was. All right, buddy, take us home.
So, this would be the part where I would give a long, somewhat long but brief, a passionate but brief explanation of my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine, a movie that, despite what you may think after what I all just said, I really love. But instead, please watch The Marvels. The Marvels was actually a really good movie. It is the only episode it's the only MCU movie we have done an episode on. I am begging you, please see The Marvels. That movie deserved better. I thought it was a lot of fun. The chemistry between the three leads was a lot of fun. Please, please, please watch The Marvels.
The Marvels was fun. The Marvels
I
was
really
fun.
liked The Marvels. I thought it was great.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, Austin, I identify as a feminist. And you know who else should identify as a feminist?
Oh my God!
The person watching this episode of Bomb Squad Matinee. Thank you so very much for watching / listening. If you are listening on any of the audio platforms we're on, thank you oh so very much for listening. We really appreciate it. How about you go ahead and give us a review? It does something. I don't know what. And if you're listening on Spotify, how about you mosey on down over to our Patreon? We have 2 rewards tiers, the $5 tier, which very soon should be launching with commentary tracks. I'm sorry, I turned full Sean Connery there for a second. Should very soon be launching with commentary tracks. God willing, we should have one out by the end of the month. And at the $10 tier, you can get this, a very special shout out. Jason Secord, thank you for giving us $10 a month. We really appreciate it. And also, my mother, Tanya Kraft, thank you for giving us $10 a month. I just remembered that she's also a patron, and I should probably be shouting her out too. Is it pathetic that I am dressed up as Wolverine saying, thank you, mommy, for giving me money? Maybe a little bit. And if you are watching on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate it. How about you mosey on down to the comment section below and let us know, what did you think of Deadpool and Wolverine? Are these even fucking movies anymore? What the fuck is any of this? Is Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom the worst thing to ever happen? And finally, what are your thoughts on Inglourious Bastards? Comment below and let us know. And while you're watching this, I'm sorry, not while you're watching this, while you're down there, hit the like button so you know how much you like us, hit the subscribe button so you know how much you love us, and hit the bell icon so you know exactly when we upload new videos. Mr. James the Nerd, please plug your channel.
My channel is James the Nerd with 2Ds. I got the one with 1D, but I lost the password. James the Nerd with 2Ds on Twitch, Instagram, and James_the_nerd on Twitter if you want shit posts.
He posts like once a week. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Tune into the next episode of Bomb Squad Matinee. Bye!
Farewell.
I cannot wait to get out of this fucking costume.
So take the
Photographs and still frames in your mind. And on the shelf and good friends and good times.
tattoos and
Memories of death in one child.
for what it's worth.
It was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Yeah, just guessing on the chords. And it worked.
It's just like Green Day.
Yeah, just like Green Day.